All the windows shattered, all the empty factories. That's what really matters. Keep on coming on back to me. I can drive away in my big blue car, and maybe it doesn't matter where you go or who you are. We got so much trouble coming every day. We get hypnotized, and our courage fades away. And I'm on my knees, y'all gonna see me pray. We got so much trouble coming every day. All the men hang out on Slauson Avenue, but the only job in town is beating people black and blue. When the cops come by, they all scatter like the wind. You say you wonder why, man, tell me where the hell you been. We got so much trouble coming every day. We get hypnotized, and our courage fades away. And I'm on my knees, y'all gonna see me pray. We got so much trouble coming every day. So I asked my sister, where's it gonna go? And I asked my brother, but my brother did not know. And I asked my mother, she said, girl, I told you so. And I asked my daddy, but it died a long time ago. We got so much trouble coming every day. We get hypnotized, and our courage fades away. And I'm on my knees, y'all gonna see me pray. We got so much trouble coming every day. We got so much trouble coming every day. We get hypnotized, and our courage fades away. And I'm on my knees, y'all gonna see me pray. We got so much trouble coming every day.
Thank you very much. Happy Thursday night, Humagoo, everybody. Oh, we have a fabulous guest, the Scorch Sisters, and I have one of the Scorch Sisters, Alicia Morgan from California way, live on the Humagoo. Welcome, Alicia, aboard.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, I'm just excited to have you gals. And I had Francesca on the show a little while ago at the Americana Kitchen, and your bio, where you gals come from, and you're New York born, Florida area.
Yeah.
And you had something very cool you did when you were young. And again, welcome to the Humagoo, and tell us what's happened in your life and all the beginnings for you.
Okay, well, let's see. That's like you said, I was born in New York, but I was raised in Florida. I'm a Southern girl at heart. And, I started playing music professionally when I was still in high school. And when I graduated, I started playing for a nightclub magic show. And, I had a band that used to back up, artists that would be playing the Holiday Inn circuit, and so we would play music for their show. And we were backing up this show called Magic Odyssey, and it was some circus acts. And so we started traveling, and one night the lady illusionist ran off with one of her backup dancers. So pretty much the show was over I had to send my guys back to Florida, my band. There wasn't any work for them in the nightclub, so I just ended up staying on and joining the show. So we started performing at circuses and carnivals, and so I was in the circus for 3 years. It was a really unique experience because that's not here anymore. You know, that particular type of, you know, American phenomenon, I guess. That's probably not the right word, but you know, it's a thing that is coming on. You know, so I'm happy to have been a part of it.
Yeah, you know, looking at your bio and hearing about that myself, history background in schooling and stuff like that, studied that. But circus, you're right. Nowadays, yes, the elephants, you know, God bless the animal awareness. But history years ago, that was the entertainment. When Barnum and Bailey came to town, that man was a very, very talented person back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That's what that was all about. You know, that's today we have our podcast and our music and all our entertainment. That's what people had 100 years ago. Americana again.
Oh yeah, and even when I was growing up, when the circus came to town, it was a big deal. And having performed in circuses, I will tell you that it is the purest love you will ever experience as a performer. They just love you because you're there. You don't have to, you know, impress them. You don't have to prove anything to them. They love you. You know, the little kids love you. Everybody loves you. There's no, you know, it's really a very pure kind of, you know, audience.
And you talk about the pure melting pot. I mean, the people working in the circus, working together. Everybody was a family back then. They had to. And all the practicing you would put into that behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, because you had, I mean, most of the families, most circus performers come from circus families, generations and generations and generations. They usually are based in Sarasota, Florida. And, you know, so you would see, you know, family, you know, cousins and brothers and sisters and little children, you know, and grandparents. You'd see the little babies, you know, 1 and 2 years old, learning to stand on a ball or stand, you know, starting to learn the act at that age. You know, they grow up with that.
Oh, it's amazing, the professionals.
You know, and they pass it on from generation to generation.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And again, you mentioned about the history, something that we've lost. And again, I think a lot of it, you know, maybe the animals narrative of that, but there's different entertainment that people don't really understand. The blessing of the circus that it brought to people and yourself in life. And speaking of that, I kind of had that a little prepped up right now. We have a little circus theme going in the background. You can't hear it.
Okay. No, I can't. Okay.
I tried to find the ringmaster, you know, come here, come all, everybody, or whatever that is. But you know, because it was so interesting when I get to talk to you, all the fabulous artists, all the things that you do and have come from the background. It was great. And then you also have a caricature, a cartoonist stuff, too. Very creative, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to work as a portrait artist and cartoonist at what do you call them, like amusement parks, like Busch Gardens and Magic Mountain and Disney and you know, places like that, Universal City, those types of places, and that was always a lot of fun.
And that's something that also I thought about. I have my little Humagoo guy that I use my little promo. If you see that, now that is a picture from old RCA days. But I'll tell you what, I got to talk to you. I need somebody to make me an updated, my very own little Humagoo guy. That would be.
Okay, all right.
I've always thought about asking
I do
someone.
See that. I got to say, it's very cute. It's a cute little logo. You know, I like it, but
it's technically, you know, I've always been out there, but it does say RCA in the bottom, Victoria, you know, because that's back with, that's Mr. Magoo. And, you know, that nickname, the name all comes from, I'm a big fan of the rock band, The Who, and Magoo was a nickname in high school. So I had to work for Mad Science a year and performed fun science experiments, and I became Professor Who Magoo for a year.
Oh, that's great.
So that's for...
It's a unique moniker.
Yeah, they're. I told my brother-in-law like 2 years ago when I got the domain. I go, "There's no Humagoo. It's open." He's looking. I go, "Yeah, nobody would ever." I go, "I know. Isn't that just awesome? All the millions, and it's just meant to be,
Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
this brings out the creative side to me, and just following what you do. And we haven't even got into. Then you moved out to the West Coast, and you started rocking some blues. Tell us what happened a little bit later. All of that experience in your life, where you start going.
Well, see, after about 3 years in the circus, I knew that it was time to get back to music. I did not play music for 3 years, which was, unbelievable for me. But when I started trying to figure out how I could get a job in the Pop band that consisted of an organ and a trumpet and a snare drum, and I said, okay, I have to get back. I have to get back to music. So, I started playing music again, and I was doing a lot of top 40. I was a human jukebox in Florida, and I got to the point where I just wanted to, I was tired of playing everybody else's stuff. I had done it for a long time, and I was wondering, what do I sound like? Who am I as an artist? I had no idea. So, I moved out to California, and and I found my tribe. It was the place. It was a place where, there was room for everybody. Everybody used to say, "Oh, you shouldn't go out there because there's so much competition and you'll never make it," and blah, 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 blah. But, a place as big as Los Angeles has room for everybody. You don't have to be just one certain, type of performer. And so I just loved it.
Yeah, in my experience, there's a whole group of the ladies that have helped me, Lori Morvan to Bridget Purdy, Kelly Salon, Kelly Z. All you ladies know each other, Teresa James. And, you're a big family. You support me, Lawrence Lebo. All you ladies out in L.A. So I see the love and I feel it. And you bring that to me on my little Humagoo show that's taken me to some real cool places where I get to play and talk to people like you, Doug Duche, and all these cool things I get to do.
Well, it's nice to be able to, to share that, and I love all those girls. There is a bunch of really, really great women players and singers in Los Angeles, and we are a family, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no doubt out there. And, okay, let's talk a little bit what you got going with the Scorch Sisters. We got the 2 more tracks we want to play. We let off with So Much Trouble. Still to Remember is coming up, and we will end the show with Bad Dreams. So that takes us to Francesca and Kimberly and the band and all that good stuff. What do you have with us?
Well, Fran and Kimberly and I have been playing together in different bands for 20 years. We really have gone through life together. So we, that's where the Scorch Sisters came from, when we were in big bands, and nobody really wanted to do anything. They were just happy just to play blues covers and, and nothing more. And we kind of wanted to, take it a little bit farther. And so that's when Fran and I decided to start the Scorch Sisters. And then we talked to Kimberly, and she was on board. So that's what we've been doing. Just the 3 of us have been putting together this, Kimberly has some jazz influences, and I have, some funk influences, and Francesca has soul influences, but we bring them all together for the blues, because that's where all of our hearts really are,
Right. You're on the organ, the Hammond side, the keys. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, that brings me to a question, because I've talked to a lot of musicians about equipment. Is it today? Is it so much easier, or did you like just the old school equipment? Is the old analog type of sound? I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Because when I see,
I love both. I love both. I have, old keyboard. I have a Hammond A102, which is from 1964. It's just like a B3, except that it has like a speaker and it has reverb, but it's basically the same guts as a B3. I have a clavinet. I have a Fender Rhodes. I have all